Draft on Tap with Bears Barroom draft analyst Danny Shimon.
Hey everybody, it is Aldo Gandia and Danny Shimon. I hope that you are well. Danny, how are you?
I am doing great. Just looking forward to continuing this series of scouting these players for the Chicago Bears.
That's right. And if you don't know how this works, let me explain it to you very quickly. I've asked Danny to pretend he is the chief scouting director for the Chicago Bears. And so all season long, we're going to look at players and determine whether they're a good fit for the Chicago Bears, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. And we have started with the quarterback position because, as Danny and I think rightly has identified, the Bears may be in the market for a quarterback in the next upcoming draft. Isn't that so, Danny?
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, again, fingers crossed. Hopefully, everything goes well this season, this upcoming season for whether it's Trubisky or Nick Foles. But just kind of play a little safe and just do some pre-scouting and get ready for the draft.
Yeah, and I am a big advocate of a team drafting a quarterback every year or every other year, a developmental quarterback at the very least, and in some cases, as if you're going to do what Ryan Pace says he does during the draft the best player available, there are times where you really can't pass up a quarterback in the second or third round, despite the fact that you are in need of a different position. There are some good quarterbacks, I think, that are going to fall into those second and third rounds. We'll be talking about them in subsequent shows. But instead, today, we're going to be talking about a guy named Justin Fields, who could be the first overall draft pick in this upcoming draft. Isn't that right, Danny?
Yeah, Justin Fields from Ohio State. He's a kid that really impressed me last season. He's a guy that obviously we knew he was a great athlete, 5-star recruit coming out of high school, went to Georgia in 2018, backed up Jake Fromm, saw some action on the field, but really didn't have a chance to fully, showcase his skill set at Georgia. Ends up transferring to Ohio State last year. His first year as a starter, his first year as a Buckeye, goes on and has a great season. One season that's probably the best of school history, where this kid completed over 67% of his passes, threw for over 3,200 yards, threw for 41 touchdowns, and rushed for an additional 10 touchdowns. He became the first Big Ten quarterback with 40-plus passing touchdowns and 10-plus rushing touchdowns in the same season. His 41-3 touchdown to interception ratio was the best in the country. Now, when I put on this kid's tape, there are some things that really stick out to me. First and foremost is his athletic ability. This guy's a very good athlete. He displays the quick feet in the pocket along with the foot speed to be able to take the corner as a ball carrier and a rusher. While he also possesses what I call that make you miss ability, to be able to avoid rushers in the pocket and also be able to get outside the pocket and extend plays. This is another kid in this class that we're going to be labeling him as a dual threat quarterback. The other thing with me that I love about this kid is his poise. Again, first year as a starter, but this kid has just a cool, calm demeanor about him. It does not seem to rattle under pressure, displays good pocket presence, shows a good feel for pressure and where it's coming from, but also shows the ability to be able to know where to escape pressure and where his escape hatch is. In terms of his mechanics in the pocket, overall, he got a solid grade for me in terms of mechanics, has enough zip on the football, can make all the throws. I like the way he can speed up his throwing motion when needed. Also, he can manipulate his arm angle and his throwing platform to be able to create big plays, whether he's in the pocket or outside on the run. And we talked about another aspect of this kid in terms of his toughness, just the football toughness, the competitive toughness that he has. He's a guy that will stand in there, will take a hit in the pocket. There's a lot of times you see some of that, what I call backyard gunslinger mentality in him. Basically what that means is he just believes in his abilities so much that, even if it's a 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18 or whatnot, he's a guy that it feels like he can always make a play. There are times that could lead to some trouble, but for most of the time, this kid was successful on the field last year. So as we're going to go ahead and show some of his clips here, we'll walk through some of the things that I've noticed on tape with Justin Fields.
All right, here's the first clip we have for you.
This first clip here, I'm just going to want to show you his timing and anticipation. It's a rhythm throw. He anticipates where his receiver will be, throws it to a spot that allows his receiver to go ahead and catch it and turn it upfield in one motion, again, maximizing that yards after the catch ability that the receiver has. So again, young quarterback, works with the receiver here, throws it to a spot, trusts his receiver is going to be there. Nice touch and anticipation there.
And Danny, on this play, the one of the rushers breaks free and hits him right after he throws the ball. There it is.
Again, we talked about toughness, and we're going to have a couple more plays here later on in these clips that show some of that toughness. Again, the kid is just a football player.
Yeah, I really like this particular play. And who was that receiver there who catches that pass?
That's Chris Olave. That's another kid that if there's a season this year, he has a potential to be a first-round pick. Another Ohio State athletic receiver that has a chance to go really high in the draft.
All right, let's move on to the next clip here.
Yeah, this clip here, there are a couple things I want to show. First, I want to show some of the pocket presence, his ability in terms of anticipating, feeling pressure, stepping up in the pocket, and still being able to go through his progression and make a nice deep ball throw to, again, Chris Olave here, hitting him in stride for a big play. The other thing is I want to show you is some of his post-snap pocket mechanics. When the play starts, what Fields does is he eyes his tight end that's running down the seam. As we got it coming here, he eyes it tight end. What that does right there is that has that safety up there frozen for about a second or two. The corner is playing, looks like zone coverage. So he's anticipating some over-the-top safety help. But because Fields does a good job of using his eyes, manipulating and freezing that safety for just a second or two, that allows Olave to go ahead and go down the field pretty much untouched. And then all is left here now is for Fields to go and execute the play by making a nice perfect throw, hitting Olave, like I said, in stride, doesn't have to stop, doesn't have to alter his route pattern to the football. Easy pitch and catch touchdown.
Yeah, it's the throw is right on the button. The receiver doesn't break stride at all.
And we didn't see this from him at Georgia. Obviously, he was backing up Jake Fromm. Whatever we saw from him at Georgia was just some run play, some design, quarterbacks draws, and so on and so forth. Now this is why I was so surprised when I watched him last year at Ohio State. We knew he was, like I said, a great athlete. We didn't know he was this good in terms of getting the ball downfield with touch, rhythm, and anticipatory skills.
All right, our third clip is queued up for you, Danny.
Yeah, this one here, I just want to show you again his ability to be able to manipulate his arm angle. Here he does a good job of avoiding the defender, avoiding a sack. And what he does is not only does he get the ball off, but he throws a nice accurate ball, again, leading his receiver who catches it in stride and turns it upfield for a big play. We talked about this kid having, in high school, he was a dual sports star. He played football and baseball. He was a middle infielder in baseball and was actually highly recruited in terms of being a baseball prospect. And being able to, play middle infield, turning some of those double plays, you got to be able to manipulate your arm angle. You got to change your release point. Here he's transitioning some of that baseball ability onto the football field. And we've seen this now in recent drafts. We've seen it with Patrick Mahomes in terms of NFL, and Sundays do this all the time, be able to manipulate an arm angle. Last year you and I talked to Anthony Gordon from Washington State, who had a baseball background and who was very adapted in terms of being able to adjust his arm angle and change his release point. So this is something that a lot of these quarterbacks are doing now, being able to do this at the next level.
And last night, we're recording this on the day after the NFL season opener, where the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Houston Texans in another fabulous performance by Patrick Mahomes, 3 touchdown passes. I was going to ask you this at the end of the show about any similarities between Fields and Mahomes. Actually, I will ask you that after the show. Let's continue on with the clips, okay?
Okay, sure.
Here we go.
In this play here, I just kind of want to highlight his ability to go through a progression. When this play first starts off, he's looking right, and then he goes to the middle before he sees that his outside receiver has one-on-one coverage with no safety help over the top. And that's when he goes in and decides to throw the ball to that receiver. If we go ahead and run it back real quick, I just wanted to kind of indicate here and show it to our listeners here how he starts off looking at his right, doesn't like that, goes to the middle, and now sees that one-on-one coverage, and he likes that matchup, just goes in and throws it. If I'm nitpicking here, obviously the receiver makes a nice adjustment to the ball here and makes that catch. If I'm nitpicking here it feels is that he hasn't stepped fully through into his throw, kind of does a quick sidestep and just relies more on his arm strength to get the ball downfield. Obviously the ball still gets there. However, the receiver does have to adjust, stop his route to kind of come back and make a play on the ball. So again, but I'm being nitpicky here. So,
well, I mean, I think it's a great nitpick because we have seen many quarterbacks get away with this in college, but at the pro level, sometimes they can't get away with it. Correct.
But You're right, and at the pro level, the level of the defensive back is higher grade, and then the defender can go ahead and probably make a play on the ball. This just looked like a corner that was lost in coverage, didn't turn back and look for the football. The receiver did. Obviously saw the ball coming, and he made an adjustment and made a pretty good catch too.
Left foot is pointed at the target, and so that definitely helps with accuracy, correct?
That does help with accuracy. I just wanted to see him maybe step into that throw more, maybe get a little bigger stride into it, get some more of his lower body into that throw.
Which is why the throw was a bit underthrown there. But nonetheless, not a bad play by Mr. Fields. Next clip.
On this play here, I wanted to show ball placement, his ability to throw a ball to where he wants it, and also some pre-snap processing in the pocket. As you take a look at this game, it's 3rd and goal. The way Michigan's lined up right now, he's got 2 of his favorite receivers lined up in the slot, and that's KJ Hill and then also Chris Olave, who's been all over these highlights here. So the way Michigan has this lined up, he's pretty much determined that he's going to get a safety lined up on one of these 2 receivers. As we go ahead and run this play, it looks like KJ Hill runs either a quick out or a hitch route and stops in the end zone. What happens there, he throws a nice ball to the inside shoulder of KJ Hill. This next end zone angle gives us a better view of it as we run it back here. As Hill stops his route, as we run the tape, Hill stops his route. As he comes back, if Fields throws his ball to where Hill stops his route, then the defender has an ability to go ahead and break on that ball and make a play on the football. But he places it to the inside shoulder, where if the defender wants to make a play on the ball, he's got to go through the receiver, possibly drawing a pass interference.
There it is one more time.
It runs a little quick out hitch route, comes back, he throws it to the inside shoulder where there's no one there. Perfect ball placement.
All right, next play.
This next play here, we're going to talk about his ability to go ahead and use his legs and to improvise. It's nothing really in terms of a big play, but again, he's a guy that if nothing is there, he takes the ball, tucks it, runs it for a first down or close to a first down, and is smart enough to go ahead and slide and avoid getting, a big hit by a defender. So just want to kind of emphasize again his ability to use his legs and be that dual threat option from the quarterback position.
What I like about the play too, it's that it's first down. So he knows he doesn't have to risk bodily harm to pick up that first down. Yeah, you want competitors to play all out, but come on, this is a first down play. He's going to be left with a second and very short. So it's a smart play to go down and avoid a hit.
Again, first year starter. So that this is a kid processing this game as for lack of a better word, for bullets flying around him. He's able to process the game, as the play's happening. And like you said, don't take a hit, slide, yes. At worst case scenario, you have a 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2 in next play.
This is great stuff, Danny. All right, next play.
This play here, I just kind of want to show his arm strength and how he demonstrates his ability to make what I call NFL type throws. Here we see him lined up on the boundary hash mark and throws a ball on the line to the field outside sideline. These are the type of throws that I mark when I see on tape that these are NFL type throws. This shows arm strength. This shows the ability to go put some zip on that football and throw a nice line drive throw. Now, ball placement could be better on this throw. The receiver makes a nice adjustment to go ahead and it's a little bit inside to him, makes a nice adjustment, goes, makes the catch, and it's a first down. But again, these are the type of throws. This tells me that this kid can make all types of NFL throws. He's got the enough arm strength to go ahead and play successfully in the NFL.
Yeah, and the pocket collapsed a bit there, so I can understand the throw being a bit off the mark there, but it is a true NFL throw, no doubt about that.
Again, I'm being nitpicky here, Aldo.
You always see what he said about me before we started rolling. All right, next play.
This play, we're talking about him being able to move his launch platform, being able to extend plays. It's a 2nd and 10 play here. Just drops back and he feels the pressure from the inside defensive tackle and something from the outside come in as well. So he just breaks the pocket and instead of just tucking it and running, possibly getting a first down, he does a good job of keeping his eyes downfield and finding a receiver downfield and throwing a pretty nice football for a touchdown.
Yeah. And all Michigan can do is deliver a really nice crushing hit right here. Boom.
Right. But it's not the quarterback.
That's not the quarterback. We're not looking at that player this week, Aldo. Stop it.
Again, the ball placement is right where the defender cannot make the play. Defender has a back turn to the football. Only his receiver can go ahead and basically make a play on the football, and he does that. Again, he's running for his life. He's broken containment here, and again, instead of just tucking in, running it, keeps his eyes downfield. This is what I talked about, some of that backyard gunslinger mentality. He's always looking to try and make a big play with the football.
Yeah, and he squared his shoulders pretty nicely there, right? Didn't he?
You'll notice he does that when he breaks containment. He has a good habit of squaring his shoulders to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next play here after the touchdown celebration and see what we got. This was a big game for Fields, this game against Michigan. He really played his butt off. All right.
And this play here, again, talking about him extending the play here, once again, drops back. We see him scan the field, sees nothing downfield. So goes in, escapes, breaks that tackle box, keeps his eyes downfield, and sees his tight end for a 13-yard pickup on 2nd and 12. And once again, we talked about there, he broke containment. What does he do there towards the end there, Aldo? Squares his shoulder to the line of scrimmage and throws a nice, accurate ball.
Yeah. And, this is not the pick on Mitch Trubisky show, but most of us will remember in 2019, there was a similar play to this where Mitch had a wide open player underneath and failed to get him to pass. Justin Fields took care of that right there, showing us that he can do something Mitch failed to do in 2019. Next play.
This next play here is just, again, timing and anticipation along with some toughness here. So similar to the earlier play, we see him with a sense of timing and being able to anticipate where to throw the ball at. Again, hitting his receiver in stride, allowing him to head upfield in one motion for a touchdown. But at the same time, take a look at the end of this play as we run it back here again. He sits there in the pocket knowing he's going to get hit by a defensive lineman, but instead he just takes it and still throws an accurate ball with perfect placement, again, allowing the receiver to catch it and be able to hit upfield in one motion, maximizing their ability to go ahead and get yards after the catch.
He's a tough SOB. You got to love that.
Right. And that's the thing that comes with this kid is the poise, the athletic ability, the ability to extend plays, to be able to dual threat outside the pocket. Now he's still learning in terms of, processing in the pocket, but we just showed you some of the clips here where he does a good job of being able to go through a progression, being able to go off of, one target, 2 targets, and then go to a third one. These are the kind of things he's going to get better at. But definitely for a kid that, starting his first year as a full-time starter, it definitely impressed me with his ability to be able to get that ball downfield accurately and also find the right option in terms of getting the ball downfield to his playmakers.
Danny, we had Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network on the Gabriel Schuster show, and I went back and looked at what Daniel said about Justin Fields. This is what he likes about Justin Fields, that he has a full skill set. In the passing game, he's at his best when he's on time and in rhythm. And stop me anytime here if you disagree with anything, Danny. He shows the ability to deliver the ball with anticipation and accuracy on drive throws down the field. He throws from that 3/4 arm slot, and the ball has plenty of life and velocity. So far, this is everything that you said. He is accurate on the move to both his right and his left. He has a good feel in the run pass option game. He also has the athleticism to extend plays and create. Then Jeremiah shares what he needs to improve, what he being Justin Fields. Vision is the main area where Fields needs to improve. It's most glaring in blitz recognition. He was consistently late last season when opponents sent extra numbers at him. He froze up, held the ball for too long, and took bad sacks. The good news is I believe he can improve in this facet with increased reps and experience. He also needs to clean up some footwork issues. He's very accurate on the move, but his accuracy suffers when he resets after being moved off his spot inside the pocket. Your thoughts on Jeremiah's
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Obviously, the positives we just talked about, his ability to, his athletic ability to be able to extend plays, be a dual threat, his ability to go, make plays on the run, bring breaks, contain, finding receivers downfield and all that stuff. And I talked about how I was impressed by in terms of his ability to get the ball downfield with accuracy, timing, and touch. And some of the things that Daniel brings up there in terms of his negatives, I agree with wholeheartedly as well. He's still developing in the pocket. He's a guy that when you do blitz him and he has to reset in the pocket, he's not out there, being that, that gunslinger making plays out on the run there, one-on-one. He does tend to overthink things, and he tends to slow down his play clock. And there are times where you see him taking hits, sometimes taking sacks, where he could probably got rid of the ball a little bit quicker, a little sooner. So again, first year as a starter, this is a kid that showed a lot in just that one season. And that's why I was really looking forward to seeing him play this year. Unfortunately, as we all know, as we're recording this right now, the Big Ten has decided not to have football this season. I think that doesn't hurt Fields in terms of being a top quarterback prospect going in the first round, top 10 and whatnot. I think it hurts him in terms of having 2 years of back-to-back production on tape, but also hurts him as potentially, vying for that first overall pick selection.
All right. Fields was on the Good Morning America show. And as we know, and many of us know, he started a petition to try to get the Big Ten to change its mind. This is his a portion of his interview with Michael Strahan talking about, Justin, you're probably still going to get drafted in the top 2 or 3. Why risk playing?
Me, it's really just for the love of the game. My love for Ohio State, my love for my coaches, my teammates, and again, just really the safety reasons. I feel like there's a lot of people on our team that feel safer in the facility. So I would say just having us playing football in the facility, weekly, daily, I think that'll keep us safe from the virus.
But it's hard to argue with what he just said, right?
Exactly. I think he makes a great point there in terms of, getting these football players in a semi bubble, if you want to call it a bubble, where they're on campus, they're at the football facilities, and these coaches and their training staff can keep an eye on them and kind of make sure, obviously they know that they listen to the protocols and follow all the protocols. Now they still have to go to class. However, now we're talking about maybe online classes or whatnot and everything like that. So I think it makes a great point in terms of being able to possibly have football. But also one thing he touched on there that I kind of wanted to point out, he talked about his teammates. He talked about the love of the game, that he's not doing it like the question said, Strahan asked him, he said, you're going to be a first round pick. Why are you battling for this? It's because he loves to play football. He's battling for, the guys that are the second and third stringers that could possibly, make a play this year and then get noticed by a scout and get drafted and all that stuff. So, that shows the kind of character he has, shows the competitive drive he has. And that's, these are all positives for me. We're talking about his skill set on the field, but also that clip tells me off the field, the kid has a good head on the shoulder and he loves the game.
All right. So I am Ryan Pace. I walk into your office over at Hallis Hall and I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely do whatever you can to grab this guy, where do you place Justin Fields? So that way I have kind of an idea if I get trade offers, when I start strategizing for the draft and moving up and so forth, how much weight should I put on trying to acquire Justin Fields?
Well, like I said, I think right now he's a guaranteed top 10 pick. If you're asking me, the only hesitation I have is he's still growing. He's still developing. We only have 1 year of tape on him. He's only had a 1 year in terms of being a full-time starter. That's the only hesitation I have about him. But in terms of his ability to be able to make plays, both with his arm, with his legs, I have no doubt. I think he, like we just talked about, he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he can pick up an NFL system. I think he'll be able to get the ball downfield accurately with touch and with timing. So all the other things that, athletically, I think he's got the traits that he can do it. My only question is just 1 year of tape. That's why it was so important for me, at least, to see him again and put back-to-back seasons like that out there at Ohio State. So that'll be my only hesitation. If you're in the top 10, you need a quarterback. I would not hesitate to go ahead and roll the dice. Now, if you're asking me, you're going to give up assets to go up number 1 overall, possibly number 2 overall, and give up, future first round picks and so on and so forth. That then I'm going to have to think about it a little bit. But in terms of, his skill set right now, I have no doubt he can play in the NFL. The only thing is we just have 1 year tape on him.
Yeah. The only thing Danny loves more than having draft assets are his kids and his family. That's it. After that, he wants more.
It pains me to trade away draft picks, but I understand why he did that with the Khalil Mack trade. But luckily this year we're going to have first round picks. So that's right. We're going to have a first round pick now. Sam Ehlinger is number 3 on your list. Do you think that Sam has a good chance of leapfrogging past Justin Fields on your list and in many of the scouts' eyes with a good season this year? That's a very, very good question, Aldo, because Ehlinger comes into this season, and we'll do a video on Ehlinger later on, but Ehlinger comes into the season as my top-rated senior quarterback. He's a kid that I liked a lot coming out last year. He ended up coming back for a senior season. Now, the one difference with Ehlinger, obviously, he's got a lot of tape. He made 33 career starts, so we've seen him. We've seen a body of work with him. We've seen some consistencies with him as well that we haven't seen with Fields. Athletically, I think Fields is a better athlete, obviously. I think Fields brings more in terms of being able to make more plays with his feet. Now, Ehlinger has the ability to be a dual threat as well, but he's not the type of athlete that Justin Fields is. In terms of arm strength, I think Fields has a stronger arm than Ehlinger. So there are some things here that I like about Fields a little bit more than Ehlinger, but Ehlinger has the body of work. He has the 33 career starts where we've seen him make plays over and over again. So and also Ehlinger is going to play this season. So far, they're on schedule to play the Big 12. So, he's going to have another year of tape out there as well. That's a very good question. And it's something that if I put on the spot right now, I'd say I'd have to go with Fields only because of the athletic ability and what he potentially could bring to an offense, the dynamic ability that I think Ehlinger doesn't have just, to that nature, to that extent.
Well, and I want all of our viewers to know that these conversations are going to be even more in depth in our audio podcasts of Draft on Tap. In that series of audio podcasts, which we will produce 2 times every month, Danny is going to play the role of the chief scouting director. There's going to be somebody else in the room playing the role of a scouting director, and I'm going to play the Ryan Pace role, and we're going to have in-depth discussions about position needs, about player needs, an evaluation of these players. It's going to be a theatrical performance of what happens at Hallis Haw, but starring Danny Shimon and others. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
There's going to be some arguments. There's going to be maybe some bad words said here and there, but that's what happens in a real, war room. When scouts are asked to go ahead and pound the table for a player, they go, head to head. They say, this is why you should pick this kid. And the other scout will say, no, I think you should go with this kid. Have you seen this game where he tore up, Michigan, or where he tore up Clemson or whatnot? So these are the type of conversations that actually take place in NFL war rooms.
We'll be back with a final word right after this.
Hey everyone, Ryan Badgley from the Barfly Tailgate Show, and football season is kicking off, and I know you feel like I do, so to steal a phrase from WWE superstar Daniel Bryan, yes, yes, yes! And I also know you are like me and you love the work Allen Robinson is putting out on the football field, but also off the field. That's why we're so pleased to partner with the Allen Robinson Within Reach Foundation. Their work provides educational opportunities and resources to low-income and inner-city Chicago students to help put success within reach. How can you help? Immediately you can visit allenrobinson12.org and learn more about what they are doing and make a donation. If you can't donate money, can you donate your time? The foundation is always looking for volunteers. And please let others know about their great work. In the coming weeks, the Barroom Network will hold some fundraising efforts, and we hope that you'll be a part of those. And again, let your family and friends know. Now, how about them Chicago Bears? I'm so psyched up for this season. I think A-Rob has 100 catches and double-digit touchdowns. Now let's bear down.
Danny, our good buddy Ryan Badgley is doing a fabulous job with his community outreach efforts, and you and I love Ryan Badgley. Now let's hope that he gives us a little love back and gives us one of those balls so that we can raffle off here on Draft on Tap. It'll be an autographed Allen Robinson ball with the Barroom Network and Within Reach logos on it. So it's going to be quite the prize. Hopefully we'll get a lot of
awesome.
people.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome gift. And yeah, Ryan's doing, hats off to Ryan. He's doing a great job. And like I said, at the Barfly Tailgate Show, and also, working with the Allen Robinson program.
Now, what do you think about Ryan's prediction that Allen is going to get 100 receptions and double-digit touchdowns?
Well, if I remember correctly, he had almost 100 receptions last year with 9 touchdowns, I want to say. So, and that's an up and down year of Mitch Trubisky. So if they get any sort of consistency at quarterback, I think that's well within reach for Allen Robinson. I think what he's done, he's proven me wrong, because when they went out and signed him, like, I was a little skeptical because he only had really one big year with Jacksonville, and then he obviously got the injury. And I was kind of questioning whether he was, number one worthy in terms of a receiver money, but he's done yeoman's work here as a Chicago Bear, both on and off the field. He's proven me wrong, and he's definitely a number one receiver, and in an offense, he's a guy that I think other receivers are following for both leadership and for, in terms of his work ethic and all that stuff. So definitely hats off. And I do hope that the Bears, find a way to go and give him a contract extension and lock him up for years to come and make sure he's within the organization for multiple years.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I that's the next big signing this team has to do, is sign Allen Robinson. You don't let a star player like that get away. And as for the 100 receptions, it might be a little tougher because of the improvements they've made in the tight end position. You're going to see a lot more receptions go to tight ends this year, and the anticipated improvement of Anthony Miller, who in a press conference earlier this week. Now, again, we are recording here on September 11th, but in a press conference earlier on this week, Miller talked about how well he has learned the playbook and that he's going to be lining up all over the field. So it's quite possible Miller could get 60, 75 catches this year. And so that means perhaps that he's going to take some of the balls that normally went to A-Rob, which is okay by me as long as we're scoring 25 plus points a game. I don't care who's catching the ball.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, and I'm a big Anthony Miller fan. As you guys recall, I was, vehemently in favor of them drafting him when he came out in the second round. So definitely looking forward to Anthony Miller taking that next step up. And Allen Robinson has been a mentor to him. He has shown him the way, if you will, in terms of how to be a professional receiver, how to run his routes, how to get into his playbook and be able to know all 3 or 4 of the receiver positions, no matter where you're lined up on the field. So a step up from Miller would be a nice welcome there for the offense. But also the other thing is with Matt Nagy is, I know he talks about an improved running game. I know he talks about with improved coaching staff, hopefully getting David Montgomery and that running game going. But he comes from the Andy Reid tree in terms of being able to loving to throw the football. And I think as long as you have a capable quarterback back there, I think there's going to be plenty of balls to go around to both Allen Robinson and Miller. So, I think that 100 still could be within reach there for Mr. Robinson. All
right. Before we sign off here, I want your expectations for Mitchell Trubisky coming up here on week 1 of the 2020 NFL season, going up to Detroit and playing at a partially empty, almost totally empty Ford Field. Are you feeling good about what kind of performance he's going to deliver, or how are you feeling?
Well, if you go back on past history, Trubisky typically has really good games versus the Detroit Lions. So, however, it's always a new season, first game of the season. You never know how a team's going to come out. Everyone's going to come out pumped up or energized, and we haven't seen Mitch play this year. Now we're going to take Matt Nagy and the coaching staff at their word, and we're gonna assume that he went ahead and won that position. So, if he comes out and he has, for me, in terms of a good game, would be like 250 yards, two to three touchdown passes, no interceptions, no turnovers, would be a really good game for Mitchell Trubisky, in my opinion. And that could be a nice springboard in terms of him having a good season this year. So, like I said, past history has indicated that he does well against Detroit. So hopefully that continues and he goes out there and he helps and leads the Bears to a victory on Sunday.
Yeah, he threw, I think Adam Hogue wrote something that really caught my eye. I think he had 7 touchdown passes last year. And what was interesting about it is that his success came against this Lions team that loves to play man-to-man defense. Right. And it seems like Trubisky's ability to play against man-to-man and the receivers' ability and tight ends' ability to play against man-to-man really is in Trubisky's wheelhouse. So it'll be interesting to see if Patricia throws some more zone in there and also blitzes Trubisky more often, something that Matt Patricia doesn't like to do.
Well, the thing is with Patricia, he comes from the Bill Belichick tree, and they like to man up on the receivers, especially with Belichick. You see him, with Stephon Gilmore, he kind of has him shadow the top receiver from either side. Now, Patricia thought maybe he was getting something that in terms of a shutdown corner with Jeffrey Okudah, but from early reports, he had struggled early on. And he's not even going to start this game versus the Bears. So if they continue to play that man-to-man defense, this is an opportunity, and hopefully Nagy will install this into the offense this season, where you can maybe take advantage of Trubisky's athletic ability and get him out of the pocket, rolling out, maybe using some of his feet, because he's going to have defenders, going down the field man-to-man. The backs turn to the offensive quarterback, so that way he can maybe take advantage of that and get a couple of first downs here and there and continue drives going, and then next thing you know, you have a touchdown going there.
Yeah, Danny, I love talking NFL football. I love talking Chicago Bears, and I especially love talking it with you. And add to that, talking about these prospects, it's going to be a fun year for us as we do all of this analysis, and we do it from the eyes of the Chicago Bears needs. Your final thoughts before we sign off?
Same here. I love talking about football. I like talking about Bears. I like talking about draft, and we're going to continue to go with this series in terms of previewing these potential NFL quarterbacks and potential targets possibly for the Bears in this upcoming 2020 NFL draft. So stay tuned for those as well. And then from there, we'll just move on to the next position group in terms of running backs, receivers, so on and so forth. So looking forward to working with you, Aldo, and also looking forward to continue to provide these reports for our listeners as well.
Yeah, and please leave your comments and let us know how we're doing. Let us know who you would like Danny to scout, and just keep feeding us ideas and comments. We really, really do appreciate that very much. All right, until our next show, we'll see you.